So this will be the first of 2 Shaddoll videos I'm going to be uploading, because for those of you that have been living under a rock, Konami essentially decided to just buff the shit out of the Shaddoll skill we've got in the game, essentially allowing it to not only be played in just about any single archetype that you like, but also just making it just way stronger than it was already. So I'm going to be doing 2 videos. The first one's going to be a rather more boring of the 2, considering it's just going to be a pure build, and the second one's going to be a little bit more spicy, taking it into a different archetype. If you're interested in seeing that video, make sure to subscribe, because I'll be out tomorrow, I believe, if not the day after. But for this video, we'll be checking out the pure version, because it did get absurdly buffed, so let's go check it out. So for those of you that missed out on what the skill change actually was, this is what the skill now does. The skill's second effect can only be used once per duel if all the monsters in your deck, excluding the extra deck, are Shaddoll monsters or spellcaster monsters. So keep in mind, this restriction is only applying to the second part of the skill. The first part can be played in literally any deck that you like, which is why for tomorrow's video, we're going to be playing it in some random ass archetype and combining it with Shaddoll, because any archetype that plays light or dark monsters can make hella use out of the Shaddoll archetype, so we'll be checking that out tomorrow. Alright, at the beginning of the duel, choose 2 Shaddoll trap cards from your deck at random and send them to the graveyard. Very important, considering there's a pretty specifically powerful trap card for Shaddoll that when you put it in the graveyard, with 2 of them in the graveyard, you can flip all of your flip monsters face up on turn 1, which just makes this deck a hell of a lot more consistent and adds a bit of power to it as well, and we'll check that out when we actually get to the gameplay. Alright, add 1 Shaddoll Wendi to your extra deck and 3 Shaddoll Fusion and 1 Shaddoll Schism to your deck, so same as before. And the second part of the skill, which is the part you can't use if you're not playing a pure build, during your main phase, shuffle 1 Shaddoll card from your graveyard or among your banished cards into the deck. So basically just the recycling part. You don't get that if you're playing a non-pure build, but for today's video we're playing a pure build, so we get that little bonus effect as well. Alright, let's go check out the deck list. Alright, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the individual cards and effects in this archetype, as obviously every single card on screen is just a card you've probably seen in previous iterations of Shaddoll before the skill was updated. As Shaddoll didn't get any new cards, they just got a nice little skill change. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the cards, but what I will talk about is what's actually different between this version of Shaddoll and the previous iteration. So the main difference is we're now playing 2 copies of Resh Shaddoll Incarnation. We're playing 2 of this because obviously the skill puts 2 of these straight in the graveyard right at the start of the game. And this means whenever you feel like it, you can banish this card from the graveyard along with the other copy or another Shaddoll card, target any of your flip monsters and flip them face up whenever you want to, which is really important for 3 different reasons. The first reason is it basically turns your Wendi and your Hedgehog into starters for the archetype that make it really easy to go into your full combo, ending on your Shaddoll Schism to go into your window during your opponent's turn to make sure your opponent has just no fun whatsoever. The second reason it's really important is if you don't have to use this for your main combo, you can make sure you can go into a Squamata, put this on the field, and a Dragon, put this on the field, then activate this card whenever you like during your opponent's turn to remove your opponent's cards, so additional disruption. And the third use for it is actually really sick. You can use this card in response to your opponent's whatever sort of cards they're using, whether that be Effect Veiler or Ghost Mourner or Droplet or whatever the Sky Striker negate card is, the Widow Anchor, whatever card they're using, you can use this in response to those to flip your own monsters face down to dodge those negate effects, which is really cool. I don't think I actually got any examples of it during the gameplay today, but it is a pretty cool effect you can do. So if your opponent activates a Droplet or an Effect Veiler, keep in mind you can now use this trap card to essentially dodge the negate by flipping your own monster face down, so kinda neat. But as for the actual rest of the archetype, it's all just cards you've probably seen before, so without further ado, let's go check out this archetype in some actual games. Alright, so today I've got 7 replays to share with you guys. Now keep in mind, I am definitely not the best Shaddoll player around. I don't play the archetype very often, so some of these replays I was misplaying pretty badly and doing some pretty suboptimal stuff, and despite being not a very good player with this archetype and just not knowing how most of the cards function properly, I still had an insane win rate with this deck list. I think I only ended up losing 2 games in total using this deck list. One of the losses was because I opened 3 copies of Shaddoll Fusion and a Crackdown versus a Blue Eyes player. he didn't even summon an extra deck monster, so I couldn't even use the fusion spell, so that game went very well. And the other loss was a game where, God, this was stupid, I clicked no twice to the effect of Construct when it got sent to the graveyard, and Window when it got sent to the graveyard. So I just said, no, I don't want to add that spell or trap card back to my hand, and then no, I actually just don't want that card back in my hand. Yeah, that was very, very dumb. So if I didn't do that, probably would have won that game as well. So if you're actually a really good Shaddoll player and you've played this art type a bunch and you know how all the cards function in their main combos, you're going to have a really good time with this deck because it's very, very strong now. Alright, let's check out the replays. Let's stop stalling. Alright. So up against, I believe, a Blue Eyes player first, playing the wrong character for Blue Eyes. Shame on you. You traitor. Not even getting the animation, man. Come on. Alright, so we opened a very shit hand, actually. We didn't open any of our starters, which is not good. And our opponent didn't put an extra deck monster on the field, so Shaddoll Fusion doesn't do anything. So we're going to pass the turn. Spirit of White going to banish a card. We don't care too much. We've got extra copies of Shaddoll Fusion in hand anyway. Summons an Evening Star. I could have changed this Evening Star if I wanted to. Actually, I couldn't. I've had no fusion monster in grave. I had no material to actually fuse into, so good on him. Crackdown going to steal his monster though, and passing it back. Alright, still didn't draw a Shaddoll monster. I'm too good at this game. Thankfully, it was like he wasn't willing to summon anything either. Didn't want to go into a Blue Eyes or didn't open one or something. So Shaddoll Fusion now going to summon using these two cards on field for our Construct. Dragon going to be getting rid of this card in the back. He's going to Crackdown to yoink one of my monsters. Fine by me. Evening Star's going to defend his card. I actually forgot it was going to do that, which is a little bit annoying, as I could have actually changed the Shaddoll Fusion to this Evening Star to potentially still pop his back row there by not letting him get his dude. He's activated his Crackdown. I'm going to chain in response, so obviously get to dodge it. Summon the Construct. Construct adding back to hand. Hedgehog going to be adding to hand as well. And the Construct once again sending a card to graveyard because this card just not once per turn for some reason. Beast drawing to a Sewer Poly, which is fantastic because I'm pretty sure this last card was the quick play spell card. So hitting a Winder. Oh my god, adding back to hand again. And even he did survive the turn, we still had follow-up in the Shaddoll Schism for the following turn. Alright, so actually one hand there, which was a brick hand. So this deck, I think, has a roughly 85-ish% chance of opening the Shaddoll Schism combo now. You can increase that a little bit by adding an extra copy of Wendi, but the more cards you play in this deck, the less likely you open the Shaddoll Fusion going second, which I think is probably not the best. I think you really want to open that going second, so I'm willing to play slightly less consistent going first if I can open more Shaddoll Fusions going second. Because 85% chance to open combo is completely fine, especially considering if you do brick, a lot of time it's just bricking with a Crackdown, so you just steal your opponent's stuff anyway. Alright, up against another Shaddoll player. Okay, so the reason I want to say this replay actually is because this guy is showcasing how you get to do the Shaddoll opener with Wendi, because I don't think I got a replay doing it. Essentially, you summon your Wendi, use the trap card in graveyard to flip the Wendi face up, then you get any of your Shaddoll monsters, put them on the field to get the two monsters on the field, turn them into your Link monster. Your Link monster that can fuse using one of your Shaddoll cards in hand, so it's basically a 2-card combo where you have Wendi plus any other Shaddoll monster. Then you have your Construct plus your Shaddoll in hand, fusion summon into your Construct. Construct obviously sends the trap card. The Link monster in graveyard can then summon itself back, send it to the graveyard, grabbing your Schism. So if that didn't make any sense, just rewind the video a bit, because this guy literally just did the combo on screen. Alright, Invocation, going to be fusion summoning out your Spirit here. This triggers the Squamata from the hand. Wendi summoning the Hedgehog from deck, which we can now flip face up. Or we're going to use Shaddoll Fusion, because I forgot this card wasn't summoned from the extra deck, it was summoned from the graveyard, so I thought I was using Fusion for materials in deck here. Slight misplay, but it's alright. Hedgehog searching for the Beast, hitting my opponent, and passing. So summoning this card in this mirror match is really important, as you'll notice my opponent just didn't summon anything. And the reason he didn't summon anything is normally they like to summon out their window. If they summon out their window, your opponent can't play the game anymore. But with this thing on the field, if they ever summon out the window, I just suck it up and then just continue comboing as normal. So he pretty much couldn't do anything for his turn. He could have summoned something, but anything he summoned would have got sucked up by the spirit. So very important card in the mirror match, actually. Alright, I didn't set the poly because I wanted to use this during my turn. If he did summon something to just have lethal damage, I could just fuse using his monster. Unfortunately, he avoided that by using his brain cell, which is rare for Duel Links players, as you can tell by my gameplay of this game, actually. Alright, Hedgehog going to be grabbing, sending as well. Alright, flipping his Dragon these nuts face up, trying to send my card to the graveyard. I'm going to suck up his monster in response, and now he's literally dead on field. Yeah, this card is absolutely terrifying in the mirror match. It's also a wind monster too, so unless they're playing the... they can't even Super it unless they're playing the particular Shaddoll monster in the extra deck, which is pretty uncommon now, I believe. I'm not playing it, I think most people aren't playing it. Especially if you want to play the new Link, or want to play the Link monster now. Alright. Up against Rio. I forget what this person was playing. Was this a striker player? Oh no, it was another Shaddoll player. Okay. Alright, Verre gonna be searching for the Invocation. Unfortunately, we can't go for the other combo. We can only go for this one. So we use our Hedgehog to summon from deck. Oh, sorry, add to hand. Squamata gonna be sending to grave for Wendi to summon from deck. Grabbing our Squamata, setting cards and passing. I should not have searched for Dragon. I should have put this on the field and not put Squamata on the field. This card's removal is way stronger than Squamata, especially against an archetype that plays Winter, which is immune to destruction. This was a bit of a misplay, but it's fine. So my opponent, I believe, just activated a Nightfall, which we chained a Schism to. It's a light monster, so we can just summon out a light monster in response. And it's gone. Construct sending to grave, giving us a draw, and my opponent just concedes from there. Yes, that's a... Just look at that infield, bud. Just look at that infield, man. That's absurd. Oh, absolutely absurd. And that is what you can now do with this archetype. Alright. Up against Mr. Keeves over here, and this must be the striker player. So this game I think I played really badly. I just sort of summoned things for the sake of summoning. I think there was definitely much better ways I could have done what I did here, but we won, so it doesn't really matter. Striker is actually such an awkward deck to play against, man. I still don't know what the best lines are to beat it properly. I know going first a lot of time, you can just set a card face down. They struggle a lot to deal with it. If they do pop it, you just summon a card from deck, so... Anyway. Alright, so I'm going to be flipping my monster face up, grabbing my Squamata. Shaddoll Fusion, using the light monster we just put on the field to make my construct. Alright, popping his back row and sending another card to grave. Link summoning out the Phoenix to pop another back row. Of course, adding my Fusion to hand, which is great because he has an extra deck monster on field. He activates the Eagle Booster, meaning we can't really lethal him this turn, which is a little bit annoying. But we can get rid of the last trap card if we like, or the last back row if we like. Not sure if this is worth or not, but this is what I did anyway. Use these two to make my Knightmare Unicorn. Discarding and adding another card back to hand. Removing the final back row, which is a Shark Cannon. Setting 2 and passing. Or setting 1. So that's void, no. Yeah, I did. Alright, goes into card greed, add a card to hand, which is fine. Actually, a little bit scary. It's going to pop my Unicorn. Unfortunately, it means I'm going to have to trigger my Schism because this thing is a non-target removal. Summoning out my Construct, which is good to add a card to hand if he didn't pop the Super Poly. For some reason, summons a Hayate instead of going for the Shizuku. Maybe he didn't have another copy or something. Maybe he's a free-to-play player or something, I don't know. Either way, these two are going to become the Spirit. Spirit's going to attempt to suck up his monster, but unfortunately, I believe he had a Widow Anchor. Alright, I'm going to summon out my Winder. Unfortunately, can't quite lethal him here, but the Winder does stop him swapping this card out again. Yeah, if you used the didn't use Hyate last turn, he could have actually had a search there and maybe even won the game from there. Because if he searched for like an engage or something, he could have like, yeah, I don't know, if he summons, I think he just misplayed there. Then again, I think I also misplayed a bunch, so. Either way. Still a good showing of what kind of stuff this decklist can do. Even when played by an absolute moron like me. Yeah, I'd be very surprised if this doesn't turn out to be a top tier archetype now. It was already doing, I know there's at least one topping the last KC Cup in the top 100. So surely now with this skill upgrade, it's going to be all over the place. Oh yeah, this is a sick replay. This is just full on breaking a Galaxy Eye field of dude makes this stuff untargetable, the popping monster and the negate. So fast forward a little bit. This is just actually full on breaking his field. And this is why I like playing my deck list as close to 20 as possible as I can, because I want to open Shaddoll Fusion whenever I can. So Shaddoll Fusion, sending 2 cards to grave, making my Construct. Wendi going to be special summoning, Construct going to be sending my Beast, getting a card draw, putting my dude on field, who we're going to flip up straight away. Forcing out one of the negates, which we're going to chain the Fusion to, because it's a target negate. And now this means, yeah, he's going to lose. He lost both his disruptions from just this one play. Does get to summon out a Photon Dragon, though. Alright, summoning the Winder, returning his monster. Hedgehog adding an extra monster to hand. So we can Fusion summon once again, making a Spirit. Spirit can now suck up that Galaxy Eyes on the field. Alright. Actually, I could have swung with the Spirit first, right? I could have Spirit swung into this, then used it to suck up his monster. That's actually a misplay. Actually lethal on field if I didn't make that mistake, actually. Didn't matter anyway, because if I full on shit on him, but it was actually a misplay. Alright, where are we up to? Is it space runs? I just clicked on the same replay twice. Oh no. Okay, so I think this was another striker player. I think I saved this one just because I thought it was pretty funny. Not the greatest replay here, but I thought it was kind of funny, so I saved it anyway. So up against a striker player, and we drew a dog shit hand. Actually, the hand isn't that bad against any other archetype. It's just playing against a striker player. I don't want to fuse anything. I don't want to give a monster on field just for him to steal, or play some back row just for him to pop. So I'm like, I'm going to just set my monster face down and good luck, buddy. Which is honestly a fairly decent strat versus striker. Strikers struggle to deal with face down monsters. The best way to deal with it is literally what he's doing here, searching for a non-target removal source so they can pop this thing. Which doesn't even work very well with Shaddoll, because if they pop this card, if it was like Wendi or something, I just summon another one from deck and face down, or another Shaddoll card. So I don't know. Maybe this is actually the optimal play versus striker going first. You don't give them anything to steal, so they can't really OTK you. He pops my card, I pop his multi-roll, which is fantastic. I activate another multi-roll. I just a summon breaker before hitting me in the face. Passes the turn, and then his disgusting summon breaker is about to disappear because I can use my Shadow Weaving power, put that card back in my deck so I can reuse it when I use my Shaddoll Fusion to pop his Sunbreaker. But unfortunately, yeah. He conceded. Alright, final replay. I'm not sure I have any right to call his deck, his Summon Breaker disgusting when I'm playing a deck with Winder in it. Alright. I think, thankfully, the current meta does mean that it's kind of hard for Winder to get a lot of value, considering Blue Eyes are super popular. And Blue Eyes is a deck you can just normal summon Blue Eyes and just beat over the Winder. That doesn't care about the special summon at all. In fact, Blue Eyes normally only special summons like 2 to 3 times a turn anyway. Alright, Invocation summoning out my Construct. Wendy going to be summoning from the deck, Construct sending the Schism. And this is one of the games you'll notice I actually managed to keep the trap cards engraved to use again during my opponent's turn. I haven't used either of the 2 trap cards yet, they're both engraved. Yeah, both engraved still. Alright. Actually, pretty insane turn 1 setup here. Alright, so I'm not going to do anything till I see any particular reason to, just waiting for like tuner monsters like to steal or turn to hand. Turn his monster to hand. Swings in, Crackdown, gonna be yoinking. During his turn, going to my Phoenix, so I have another monster to attack with. Signing my Schism. Keep in mind, by the way, if you guys forgot, this card can... monsters summoned from this card can't attack directly, so just remember that. It is something that comes up quite a bit. Hedgehog searching for my Squamata, swinging in, popping his card, summons another card back to defend himself. But I've got a nice little quick play Shaddoll Fusion here, so he's just dead on field. Alright, that's going to do it for today's replays. Hope you guys enjoyed them. Remember, just a reminder, I will be uploading another Shaddoll video tomorrow, showing it being teched with another art type, which should be a lot of fun. So if you want to see that, remember to like and subscribe. And yeah, hope to see you in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob?
Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis.
Oh.